Where does our food come from? How do we make sure we are putting nutritious foods into our bodies without spending an excess of money? How do we lean on each other while still taking care of ourselves? Hi, I'm Hannah Schwobel, and I'd like to take you on a journey into the uppermost part of New York State, or as people where I'm from call it, the North Country. I will show you how community and food partner together, navigating a scary world of limited resources, to celebrate in the joys of eating as an act of sharing. One of the many resources that helps nurture this region is an establishment called the Hub on the Hill. Located in Essex, New York, the Hub acts as a central location for local retailers and farms to sell their products and produce. The Hub's mission to support and strengthen local food systems remains their focus through all community programs they offer. Whether it's outsourcing their commercial kitchen or acting as a local market, gathering spot, or event space, the Hub offers an intimate experience to a world of quality, affordable, and locally made products. Spearheading this establishment is owner and founder Jory Weekend.
Working and partnering with other organizations to ultimately, which is my goal, is to get more local food out into our community, provide more access to all this wonderful farm food that we have in our area, which helps support our community, our farmers, our environment, and just strengthen our systems as a whole. So that is, in a nutshell, what I've been striving to do.
What is food insecurity? How does it shape the way in which we get access to everyday meals? What can we do to stop this problem? Food insecurity has flooded the North Country region, dragging down people's health and livelihoods with it. The constant lack of access to proper food resources is something that separates the demographic of the North Country from the rest of the United States.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's a huge problem in the North Country, and honestly, even though we have farmers growing food, I think it's a problem for some of our farmers. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that I think at its very simplest here, our farmers in the North Country struggle to make a living, and if they were to charge the prices that they need to make a decent living, then a lot of our community members cannot afford that food. Mm-hmm. And so I think that is, for me, it boils down to this very simple thing, like how do we solve that? How do we get resources to help, to even subsidies, right? I mean, they subsidize the big farms and in the commodity farms, but producing the commodities doesn't necessarily produce healthy food. Mm-hmm. And so how do we support the small farms, the community farms, to strengthen our communities, to make farming economically viable for our local farmers, and so that they don't have to charge $5 a pound for a tomato that nobody can afford.
One of the main reasons the North Country suffers so greatly from food insecurity is due to the quality of foods that are easily accessible and available at a lower cost. I sat down with Megan from Cornell Cooperative Extension to dive further into the meaning of food insecurity and what that picture looks like for people up here in this region.
So food insecurity is not just people not having food, but not having the types of food that they need, whether it's like culturally, nutritionally, whatever, at all times. So it's like people always want to throw around the term of a food desert. I don't think it's a great term, because even in food deserts, like there might, or even in places that aren't food deserts, like Elizabethtown's not a food desert, obviously. Westport's not a food desert technically, but in those areas, it's kind of a lot easier to get something from Stewart's or some sort of fast food than it is for some people to go into the grocery store and buy fresh food and bring it home and cook it themselves. That's food insecurity, because they're not getting the nutrition they need from the fast food. You know, it's probably not meeting their needs in a number of different ways.
Though this area suffers from the problems of food insecurity, it also utilizes this concept of farm to table to help feed and educate its people. With farms and businesses so invested in the well-being of the community, farm-to-table methods are available and accessible in a variety of ways.
Farm to table in its truest form helps is by keeping that money here. So there's a lot of ways to serve food that keep some money here. You might have a chef, you might have a business owner, you know, with a local address. They're helped out, but all the inputs for our farm are here too. Like the things that we buy, the things we use are all from here. So in terms of like keeping the money locally, the fewer things that we get from far away help keep more of that money here. And it helps guarantee that I can provide my employees a living wage so they're not living in poverty to apply their trade as farmers.
Dave's had this idea for a number of years that we could replicate locally meal deliveries. You know how people buy meals through the mail, but we could do it locally. And we decided last fall, a year ago, that we were going to start at January 1st of 2020. So we set everything in motion and we started advertising and we started delivering on Friday afternoons to people who ordered 2 entrees, a
a breakfast, and a dessert. And it comes in a box and we deliver it to their door. And they have to do minimal cooking or just reheat. And everything's farm fresh and made locally. So we started doing that, and then COVID hit in March. And we went from 12 or 13 people a week to 45.
Wow.
And that sustained pretty well. We're about 20 now, give or take. We have about 50 families that come in and out of the weekly delivery.
And the summer people will.
And the summer people will add to that too. But we've developed a lot of friendships through that as well, because people correspond with Dave all the time about what they're doing, what we're doing on the farm, and what's happening in their families. And so we've gotten to know a lot of people in that way.
Farm to Table isn't just about eating quality and nutritious foods from local establishments. It's also about educating people to dive into this idea and reassure them it can be done at an affordable price. Kids are highly important in this endeavor, and schools across the North Country have sought out programming to educate those on the concept of farm to table.
And with farm to school, and I think what we'll start to see more with farms to institution once COVID restrictions lift a little bit is I was doing monthly taste tests in the cafeterias of local products, and based on our harvest of the month, so every month we'd highlight something different. It could be a fruit or vegetable, it could be dairy, it could be animal protein, maple syrup. Like, it really varied. We tried to cover like a huge gamut of foods so people could see like how much is available here. So the more we can do tastings, the more the kids like the local food, the more the cafeterias are interested, the better their meals are, the less food insecure they are. It's like, that's one little thing that leads to, it's like a ripple effect. It leads to this better cycle of food in schools and less food insecurity. And
Community development and well-being, food insecurity, farm to table. These three entities are what shape the North Country. They showcase food as it relates to society and strengthens the social bonds that we share. They are the unifying element that can help solve food insecurity, not only in the North Country, but in the United States as a whole. These elements are the heart of fostering a sustainable and quality way of eating, sharing, and growing.